Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Now, today I'm gonna turn my focus away from the electrical and trying to find a tack signal. What I want to tackle are two things that I haven't really been vocal about on the channel yet, but recently, especially with the addition of the 235/85 R16 bigger tires, I've really noticed, and we're going to address that today. So first, ever since I got this Jeep, I've had a problem with the steering box. The very first steering box I had was really loose, and you didn't as much drive it as just point it in a direction and just try to keep it in that direction. I quickly replaced that box with a used box, and the box was tighter, but leaked fluid like crazy. But before I could ever really fix it, I started doing the swap and I kind of forgot about it. Well, getting this running again, it started leaking fluid again. I kind of forgot all about it. So I went online and searched for a place that could rebuild one of my steering boxes, and I came across RedHead Steering Gears. So I sent them an email, and to my surprise, not only could they rebuild my box, but they had one already rebuilt on the shelf. So I paid a cord charge. They went ahead and shipped me out their rebuilt box. All I got to do is take mine off, put it in the packaging with the prepaid label, and ship it back to them, and I'll get my core back. But because we're going to be taking all the power steering lines off, it gives me an opportunity to address the brakes. I have not liked the electric vacuum pump pretty much at all. Like, it's always given me problems, and in trying to figure out how to make the brakes better on the Wrangler, I've run into several ideas and suggestions. The reason I'm discovering right now is apparently this brake booster likes about 25 inches of mercury, and the electric vacuum pump I have is only really designed for 20 inches of mercury. So I made the decision to get rid of the vacuum brakes, and we're going with a Hydroboost setup. Now, I found this on eBay. This is specifically designed for a TJ Wrangler, so it will bolt up to the brake pedal, but I paid an extra little bit of money for this adapter here. This adapter will allow me to retain my factory master cylinder. Now, the reason I did that is it just makes the whole swap a lot easier. Oop, let me make sure that's secure. Because then I don't have to break apart the brake lines, I don't have to put on a new master cylinder, I don't have to bleed a master cylinder. Quite frankly, as soon as I run the new hoses, which are all in here, I'm going to custom make some hoses for this. You know, it should just fire up and work, and I should have good brakes, and now also a steering system that's not going to leak. So anyway, that's what we're going to try to do. Let's get to work. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is actually replace the brake booster with the new Hydroboost. So we're going to disconnect this vacuum line, we're going to unhook the master cylinder, then we're going to move to the inside of the Wrangler and disconnect it from the inside, and this whole thing should just slide right out. So, time lapse. Okay guys, the Hydroboost is on. Very similar to installing a vacuum brake booster. I'm gonna have to wire the supply, the outlet to the power steering, and then the return. But we're not gonna do that until I replace the power steering box, which we're gonna do now. So, time lapse. breaker bar plus cheater bar. There's no way I could have done that with the steering box off the Jeep. Like, if you're gonna do this, leave your box on the Jeep. That was ridiculous. So now, it's pretty much going to be a reverse process. And once we get the steering box all hooked back up, then I'll start figuring out the new power steering lines. So, time lapse. Okay, we have the new power steering box on, finally. It looks real good. Now it's time to figure out all the lines and hoses. Now, what I'm gonna do is remove the high pressure feed line that's going from the power steering pump to the power steering box. We no longer need it. I got all these parts from Summit Racing. I have a bunch of AN6 fittings. I have a high pressure hose kit from Trail Gear. I went with them because they gave me 10 feet of high pressure hose, and I've measured it out already. I know I need around 8.5, 9 feet, so that should be perfect. So we are gonna plumb this by running the feed line from the power steering pump to the brake booster. Then we're gonna run another line from the brake booster to the inlet of the power steering box. Then we're gonna run 2 return lines and tee them together back to the power steering pump. And if all of that goes real well, I'll put new fluid in the system, and hopefully we'll have a working power steering box and brakes that will actually hold back this diesel engine. So, time lapse. Okay, I have test fitted all the adapter fittings and the AN fittings. So now that everything has been kind of laid out and I know where I'm going to put the lines, now we're going to assemble the high pressure hose and start plumbing everything. Time lapse. Okay, we have all the line run. The only other thing we have to do, and I got a variety pack of this, is I need to hook a return line from the brake booster back to the power steering pump. I need to cut that rubber line and tee in the return line, and then we can start filling it with fluid, turn it on, because I have a feeling I'm going to have to add quite a bit of fluid to it. And then I want to, with the front wheels up in the air, turn the power steering and make sure all the power steering is good. A lot of unknowns here. That's always exciting, so time lapse. Okay, well, to make a very amateur mistake, I completely overfilled the reservoir on the power steering pump. I'm excited. I'm about to have brakes. I'm finally about to have a steering box that's tight and doesn't leak. The front of the TJ is lifted in the air right now. I want to just keep turning the wheel left and right until the whole system gets fluid in it. I have a feeling I'm going to have to add a lot of fluid to it, because you figure I got to fill this line, I got to fill the brake booster, I got to fill the line from the brake booster to the power steering pump and all that jazz. So, yeah, this might take a while. Time lapse. Okay guys, here's what's going on. There is a ton of air in the system. I don't know how long it's going to take to bleed this entire system. I keep turning the steering wheel full lock left, full lock right. I do it a couple of times with the vehicle off because I can hear air coming out. And then I turn it on and I do it again. Be honest, this is a workout for the shoulders, and I don't know if I'm going to speed up the footage or just skip it, but I'm going to turn the time lapse back on. So, because I need the system bled so this power steering pump works, so I have brakes. Brakes would be nice. Time lapse. Okay guys, this project has taken me way longer than I anticipated. This has taken the entirety of today, pretty much. I've been bleeding the system for about an hour. It had so much air in it because I made all new lines and everything, and the box is brand new and the booster's brand new, and it's interesting. I will say, I love this kit from Trail Gear. Like, the easiest way to make high pressure lines I've ever seen. I would highly recommend you doing it. And I've never done this before, so hats off to them for designing a fantastic product. The only other thing I will say is you really want to use WD-40 on all the components so you can seat them correctly. I didn't do it for this pressure line going to the brake booster initially. So now what I'm going to do is lower the Jeep, turn it on, put it in reverse with my foot on the brake, and see if it holds. If it does, I'll put it in first gear and see if it holds. Like, I'm gonna take this very, very, very slow because the steering's new and the braking system is new. Well, I mean, she holds, but I'm not completely convinced. I haven't damage this pump. Okay. Okay, now I didn't pull it into the shop because I made a mess today. Holy crap, the brakes are like right there. I've been pushing on them really hard because that's what I have to do, and apparently the noise I'm hearing is... One person said I might have a misalignment of the pulleys, and I really need to look into that. But the power steering feels great. The brakes are amazing. The first time, I don't know if you can tell it from the footage because it was underneath, but I got going in my yard and I really hit them, and it was like... You don't have to lay on the brakes hard to get it to stop. So after hours of struggling, that was a success. So I'm going to clean up my shop and I'm going to call it quits for the day. Leave a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't, you know what to do. And hey, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing to my channel. It truly means the world to me. And to everyone who has, y'all are awesome. Thank you so much. And I will see you in the next video very soon. Goodbye.